Welcome to Let's Talk Careers with Miss V. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are speaking with Muna AlHebsi, who's currently based in Ras Al Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates. And we're going to be talking about her incredible career as an award-winning HR expert, a hotelier, a success coach, an international bestseller author and speaker, and of course, so many stories in between that we're going to be jumping into. But welcome, Muna. I'm so thrilled to have you with me today.
Thank you, Maria, for the opportunity. It's nice to be here.
It's so exciting to be here. And I mean, the list goes on and on. As I was reading your profile, I was asking myself, how does Muna do it? I mean, just one of those things. You are holding 3 master's degrees. That is an accomplishment on its own. And I think any young person listening to this is going to be incredibly inspired. But before we jump into the academic and the professional accomplishments that you've achieved over your career span, I thought we could go back to when you were a young teenager. I think it's very important that young people are able to meet role models and understand that they didn't just wake up successful. There was a journey from being a teenager, just like our viewers, and taking us through that journey. So if I can take you back to being a young teenager, what was the younger Muna thinking about when she dreamt up her career?
Well, so to start with, I come from Ras Al Khaimah. It is a mountain area, and I belong to a very conservative family. And at that point, maybe when you asked me the question, my memory took me to a time when I just finished high secondary, and I was like weighing off my options, what to do next. But because also I'm the eldest member in my family, the eldest, basically I have 7 siblings after me, and I'm a girl. So at that point, it was not very common that, after finishing high secondary, as a girl, you think of what's next. It's the possible next thing would have been getting married and starting a family, basically. But for me, I really wanted to do something different, or something that's no one have done in my family, because I wanted to break this circle of doing the same thing, or just having one path for ladies in my family. I was envisioning myself being a business professional at that point. And the only option was available for girls from Ras Al Khaimah is either to go to the United Arab Emirates University, which is located in Al Ain, and stay there in the hostel, versus joining the higher colleges of technology here, because we had a campus also here in Ras Al Khaimah for girls. So for me, I was weighing all the options. I thought, okay, let me not make it so difficult for my family, because they will oppose actually me going so far to Al Ain and staying in a hostel. So okay, let me try this new thing, because it was very new, the College of Technology. They were teaching students how to become business professionals, and also to be a technological, learned. So I thought, okay, let me do this. I mean, of course, I've faced some, my father, he was not happy with the decision. He said, why don't she just stay at home and work do the chores until she just get married. But my mother was really pushing for it, because she's someone who her parents didn't let her complete her education, and she knows this pain. What does this mean to wanting to do something like this, but not getting the opportunity? So she wanted something different for us, and she actually tried her best until I got admitted at the college, or enrolled at the college.
So here you are, when you look back at that journey, how do you feel when you look back and think, not only have I accomplished all these career achievements, but also I paved the way for my sisters, my cousins, my friends, my community to do something different. What does that feel like for you?
I really feel I would say very accomplished, very proud, because it's something to still do something different in such a conservative community, but it's totally another thing to be the first one to do this, And of course, you can imagine that my career has been always like my study. I mean, starting with my study, my childhood, my study, and going on. It was always paved with a lot of challenges, and I would say these challenges give me the fuel to go on, because whenever there was something like this that came on my way as a young person, and connecting it back to, okay, let's say with my mother, what she could have done and she's not possible to do now because she's not studied, let's say, or what would be the scenario for my sisters, younger sisters, if, for example, I didn't have the courage to take such steps, then that was really scaring me and saying, oh, no, I don't want this to happen. Let me just to push further a little bit. And then, alhamdulillah, yani, the more I push further, I used to see opportunities coming up, ways opening. Of course, not so easily, but at least there was a hope that something better will be, tomorrow will be better for everyone.
That's amazing. So I could dive in and we could just talk about that, but I definitely want to jump into your academics and of course some of those career journey highlights, and without overriding the importance of this conversation, maybe we can take that on a different platform and talk about that experience, because I think it's important that young people understand that when you stand for something different, when you try to pave a different pathway, it's great when you look back and see the accomplishments, but definitely there were challenges on that way, which I'm sure you've experienced. Muna, let's look at some of your education. You have 3 master's degree. You wanted to go to technical college to study business and technology, and you wanted to specialize in something that you felt would be a fit for the future. And eventually you got into e-commerce when it was relatively new. We're talking early 2000s, still very, very new. How did you know that that would be the right fit for the future? And I ask you this question because whenever we talk about the youth and careers, we're always talking about this unprecedented future and trying to help young people for this unprecedented future. So way back in the early 2000s, when you were getting started, how did you know that e-commerce, because it was still so new, would actually be a thing of importance in the future?
Well, this is a very good question. Actually, I had mixed feeling at that point. It was around 2003. I remember it was my 3rd year in college, and it was a time to specialize in something. So I could have taken any normal business route, or this new thing that has came called e-commerce. And I was really having all sorts of questions about the specialization and what is about, and what kind of careers or jobs I would be able to take on after my graduation, because obviously this is the first thing that comes to a young person when they are studying, because they want to have something, they study something that is fit for future, as you said, or will guarantee them a job in the marketplace. So one of the things that actually I've been always doing in my career, in my life in general, is about being among the first adopters when anything comes. And this is the same for this e-commerce. So my batch was around 8 girls, and we were thinking really what to do. Shall we take this path? Because we had only one batch who went to this specialization, and we were the second cohort actually to take on. I spoke to many instructors to take their opinions. There were career counsel, as you know, in every college. And I would say the biggest reason why I chose this is based on my gut feeling. I felt there's a future for this, you know. I think young people shouldn't underestimate the role of intuition or gut feeling. Of course, you need to take the advice of your instructors, of career counsels, of course, your family, all the people. You need to take all the inputs, weigh them, up. But at the same time, see what you love, see what could be potential for you in your career. For me, the one thing that kept coming on my mind was, okay, so how this will give me a leverage. Like I'll be one of those students who will be a graduates in this field, and there will not be so many of us. So actually, the thing is, I will get a lot of opportunities because there will be a need for this, and there will be less people competing, you know. So that was my thought process at that point.
It's a very mature thought process. How did you come up with this? Did you have a role model that helped you to think this way, or was this just, like you said, intuition and kind of going with that gut feeling?
Well, the thing is, as I said, I took advice of my instructors. There was one particular instructor at that point. He was always pushing girls, especially in Ras Al Khaimah. يعني it's a very conservative environment in general for girls. So he wanted to see girls who become the future leaders and in different sectors. And the girls were quite hesitant to take on new things unless they see someone who done it before. And this I think generally around the world. I'm not talking only about this geographical area. It's around the world. As women, generally, we want to see someone who has done it, anything, not only study, anything in life, and we want them to get some assurance that, oh, that will work for us as well. But I think beside that instructor who used to say, go do it, I want to see change agents. And this word always with me, change agent. I want to see change agents in the society. I want to see you leading the way. So I don't know, but his word kind of stuck to my mind. And beside that, my own intuition, I felt like, oh, there's something about it, I should go for it.
That's
so
amazing.
That's what made me make the decision. Yes.
So incredible. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about some of your highlights. You said that you were among a handful of Emirati women who chose a career in the hospitality industry. How did you go from e-commerce to hospitality? Where did that switch up for you?
Yeah, so that's again an interesting story. So when I graduated from Higher College of Technology with the e-commerce degree, and I was actually the best student in my batch, which I'm very proud of. I started looking for jobs, and during my study period at the Higher College of Technology, I had to do a work placement for 2 weeks somewhere. And this is again where that instructor came and he said, well, guys, try to look for the new places to do work placement, not only government and not only, for example, banks. You go to new places to experience new things. For me, I felt, okay, that's very exciting if I get to choose my place where I want to train. At that point, we had a new Hilton at Ras Al Khaimah. It was 2004 time, so it was very exciting for me to go and train in a hotel. I mean, the whole idea was very exhilarating, for me. So now it's a different discussion when I spoke to my family, how did they feel about it? And my father was saying, well, why can't you go to another place? Because he felt a little bit worried about me going to a hotel every day, the concept that they had here, or in general in the society about women going to hotels. But I felt it's something exciting. It will teach me something new. So I managed to convince my family so that they let me. And actually, he went with me to the hotel the first day. And he went to everywhere, to the HR, to the laundry, to the housekeeping. It was so exciting. Like for me and for him both. And for me, it was as a young, how young people feel like, oh, my father's here, and it's quite awkward that he's with me all the time. But for him, he was just trying to be sure that I'll be in a safe place, I'll be with good people. So after that, khalas, he got his reassurance, and I continued doing my 2 month, work placement across the different departments: front office, reservation, finance, culinary. Actually, I went to the culinary. I saw how they cook. I saw all the sections of the culinary department. It was so exciting for me. And from there, like combining the e-commerce stuff plus, oh wow, this hospitality thing, I thought it has a future. So I decided I would want to work in a hotel.
And that's where you stayed for a while, isn't it? And incredible opportunities on your journey, like the Burj Al Arab, the Grand Hyatt Dubai, Jumeirah Creekside Hotel, Jumeirah Zabil Sarai. How did you convince your family that you could now leave and travel into Dubai? Because that was something that you said when you first started the journey, was that you wanted to make the family comfortable. And so you decided to stay close to home. Where on your career journey did you begin to gain the confidence to say, I need to travel outside of my emirate and see other places as well?
Yeah. See, I think this story and by itself, only this question, we could talk about the details. We taking so long. But just to cut the long story short, I think my approach was to let my family see what I can do, give them the confidence. Because see, a lot of time, why parents actually hesitate to make us to do something or go outside of of the norms of the comfort zone, because they want to protect us. And when you get the opportunity to show them that, okay, you are fine, you are capable, you can do it, then you will start gaining their confidence little by little, and they will just be very confident that you can do it, you can do the job. So here is when I started talking to my family. The conversation was so tedious, was so like at points I felt like really I couldn't continue the conversation because just no one was convinced of the idea. But the whole point was to tell them again to let me go and do it, and give me a time frame. And then within this time frame, if nothing worked, I'll come back and I will do what they tell me. So that was the deal, actually. And alhamdulillah, when I started looking for jobs, I got an opportunity with the Jumeirah Burj Al Arab. I'm very thankful that this was my first ever career job in a very good place. And to push my boundaries, because you know the Burj Al Arab, the 7-star training that they give their employees, like it even polished every single aspect of how I do my job, of my professionalism. And I started coming in the company newsletter, and I took this newsletter and showed it to my father and my mother. I was very proud because it was within the 6 months of my working. I got into the newsletter as a role model for young Emiratis. So that was the point. I felt when they felt خلاص Muna, she can do it. She can take care of herself. So I was living alone actually there, and going to work.
And that wasn't the only time. You won Middle East Awards, the Hospitality Excellence Awards, the Global 100, the Business Excellence Awards, only to name a few. And then you went on to write a career guidebook. Now, again, the career journey changes a little bit. And I love this because when I work with young people, especially those young students who are planning that first career milestone, many times both parents and their children are afraid of making the wrong choice. And I'm often trying to encourage them to understand that you don't just make one choice, you make the first choice, and then many opportunities come to life, very similar to what happened with you. So how did you go from hospitality to suddenly deciding I want to be an author and I want to talk about my career tips?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I worked for long years in hospitality, and I've seen a lot of things, and I felt that was very valuable experience. Because see, even seeing the trends in the area where in the country where I live in, the UAE is becoming a tourism hub. They are very popular in hospitality, and kind of feeling that this will be one of the jobs for young people for the future. I felt that this kind of experience that I've gained need to be documented somewhere. And while I was thinking about this it took me like a couple of years thinking of writing. But somehow I've met Mustafa during that period of my time. It was around 2008. I would say end of 2007. And he was talking about writing a book and, becoming an authority on your field. And author means authority. So it's all kind of things. I thought, wow, this is exactly what I should do actually, because what will happen to all this experience? Like, why should people always go and reinvent the wheel if there is some kind of guidance there? So I took the chance and I said, okay, let me write a book on hospitality, on how to build a successful career in hospitality, just talking about my, my life story, my career story. So this is where I, did the book, and alhamdulillah, it was highly accepted. I got a lot of, things after the book.
Absolutely incredible. And then, of course, you went on and you did 3 master's degrees. I'm going to ask you why, because young people think they have to get the right degree. And what I love about you having done more than one, doing three, it shows young people that you never stop learning. There's never one thing that you have to do. So start where you feel most interested and then develop yourself. So how did you decide to go back to school? Not one time, not two times, three times, Mona.
That's actually because I'm a strong believer in lifelong learning. And I think this is one of the points that I really want every young person listening to us to nail it in his or her mind, that learning is not about having a college or university degree. Of course, these are things that can add up to your credibility. But beside this, actually, the three degrees that I have, which I did at different points in my career, and currently, by the way, I'm doing my doctorate, degree as well. Inshallah, by the end of the year, I will complete that. But the thing is, also look at professional qualifications, because this is a point where not many talk about. See, if you are working, try to become very flexible and adaptable with the new changes in the world and your field of work. Don't just stick to the degree. Yes, get degrees, but also qualifications. Let's say I'm working hospitality, but my field is HR and leadership, let's say. So I have a lot of other internationally renowned, accreditations besides the degrees, the academic degrees about HR. I am, a certified CIPD, chartered CIPD, the fellow level, the highest level. So I've done this over like 5 years of working in HR. Like I had to take one level, the second level, then the third level, the highest level. I've done a lot of certification in business and leadership. I've done coaching because I saw that coaching has a lot of extension to HR. Like HR will grow in the future to become, and this is something that I've envisioned, long before actually the people started talking about coaching, and I got a certification in that. So this kind of stuff, I want young people, not to focus on one area and become so rigid in it. No, see what are the other fields that can come from your area, because one key problem that young people have today is, they want to be specialized. This is great, be specialized in your area, but don't close the doors of opportunities. Like I said, HR, but do something leadership, do coaching, do project management, because then you keep like you said, the opportunities coming up, like you have a lot of things to choose from, so that you are not confined with only that field that maybe in the future will change, or the structure of this field will change, or maybe it will not be, maybe it will be done by a robot, let's say, for example, just to give one example. So I think this is the whole thought process behind being so versatile. This is the word, actually.
I love that, being versatile and being a lifelong learner. And it's
Yes.
absolutely incredible. Mona, we can go on and on talking about all these incredible accomplishments. Tell me about Fired Up. You are an international best-selling author of a book called Fire Up. Tell us more about it.
So after I done my first book, I came in touch with a lady who was basically, she is the publisher of this book, and she was looking for 10 exceptional ladies from around the world to talk about their stories, and how they have turned their suffering into inspiration, what they have done in different fields of life. So we had ladies contributing to this book coming from US, from Australia, from India, and it was me from the United Arab Emirates. Also, my sister also is part of this book. And basically, each of us wrote about an area in her life where she kind of mastered. So for me, I wrote about my career journey, because I feel that this is my basically selling point, or this is the area that I'm very proud that I've made something out of. We had ladies who talked about how to master money and finance. We had people who wrote about children and becoming mothers, people who started business from home. So it's a very unique book with the different stories, and I'm very proud that I've contributed to this book. I brought my kind of a short version of my career story, plus with a 5-step roadmap on how I made it happen.
Amazing. Mona, it never ends. Mona, you're a multi-award-winning Emirati hospitality HR expert, a success coach, a best-selling author, a speaker. What are your top 3 tips, if you could leave a young person and their parents with your top 3 of everything that you've accomplished, what would you say? I know that you said be a lifelong learner, be versatile. What else would you say to a young person and their family to remember that has been a key of success on your career journey?
So, number one, I would say, as a young person, consult everyone, but trust your intuition. And once you get all the information you need, design a life plan. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do to learn? And agree on the accreditations, on the qualifications, on the degrees you need to hold your credibility. That's number one. Number two is, when you get into the workplace, into the job you have ever dreamed about, or you wanted to be there, please give your 100%. You do 100%. Give your best. Just surprise your employers. Like, don't just work to keep the job. No, work to create something amazing out of your capabilities, out of what's needed from you. And this is only the way that you are going to be going up and up in life, you know. So surprise everyone, come up with new things in your field of work. And number three, and I would say this is very important to nail the first two, is personal professional branding. Because I think that this is, if you do a lot of work, put a lot of effort, no one knows about you, no one have ever heard of you, I don't know what will be the next thing, but it will be not enough in this kind of world that we are living today. So do professional branding, write books, be there on social media, go, reach out to people, participate in conferences, attend a lot of seminars, a lot of things. There are a lot of ways to do it, actually.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mona. It's been an absolute incredible experience to have you here on Let's Talk Careers with Miss V. So much to learn from. I definitely am going to be tapping back into having more conversations with you, Mona. And if anyone wants to reach out to Mona, you can do so by finding her on Instagram. You can find her on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I will see you at our Let's Talk Careers with Miss V at the next interview. Have a great day, everyone.